Hey guys, what is up? So it is January 2nd, 2024. I'm just gonna be doing kind of a glow up with me for 2024, physically, but also just spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. I have my coffee here that you might have seen me make. Oh man, that's good. 2024 is gonna be the year of Barbie. I got this shirt for Christmas. I like really wanted it. It says she's a Barbie girl in a lifting world. Favorite shirt. And then I got my shoes, my Barbie socks, my little Lululemon hat. This is not only kind of the ways that I am planning on glowing up for 2024, but this is kind of gonna be a guide on how you guys can glow up for 2024. So my first tip for glowing up for 2024 is to ride your own ride, and I will talk about this forever. I've written my like college scholarship essays about this, and I just like truly believe that this is the #1 thing that people kind of miss in life, and maybe they don't even know that they're missing it. So one book that this reminds me of is the book Outliers. You know, mainly the idea is that the people we want to be like, you know, like the billionaires, the successful people of the world, those people were outliers, which means they were different from the crowd, obviously, because not everybody is a billionaire. In order to be a billionaire, you know, they didn't just happen upon a bunch of money doing the same thing that everybody else did. They were different, and I think it's really important because oftentimes we think like, yeah, I can be different, but when you're actually surrounded by people and everybody's the same or everybody's doing something, it's really hard to be different. Do what everybody else isn't doing. All your friends are gonna be staying up late, hanging out, but you're gonna go to bed early so that you can wake up and go to the gym early because that is your priority. And you know, that's the hard truth. Greatness isn't for everybody. I'm just gonna be totally honest. A lot of people don't care enough. They don't respect themselves enough to be great. Recently, I read the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I'm not sure if he's, you know, really a Christian. He believes in God. You know, he doesn't want to die and go to heaven and have God be like, you know, I had plans for you. You didn't do what you were supposed to do.
If you want to be great, you could be misunderstood by everybody, because you're going to be so obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes.
That's the truth.
It takes every second of your life. Anybody says balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of people. It is. But if you want to go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you do, you've arrived.
I think that everybody is capable of way more than they think they are, and when we follow the crowd and we walk at the pace of the slowest person, you're never gonna get too far. So that's why it's important that, like, you know, if you're a faster walker, you just kind of walk ahead of everybody else. It may look like you're full of yourself or prideful, or, you know, you think you're better than everybody, but I think it's a sign of self-respect. I know I was made for a purpose, and I don't want to like give up on my purpose. Don't be afraid to share new ideas. I had an experience like a couple weeks ago, but I shared an idea that I had and I thought it was pretty cool. And honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, it took a lot of courage to share it. I was brainstorming, and that's what happens when we brainstorm ideas. We're gonna come up with kind of crazy ideas. People are probably gonna think you're stupid. The billionaires of the world, they didn't just do the same thing that everybody else does. They came up with new ideas, and people probably thought that they were stupid at first, but they kept sharing their ideas, and eventually they became millionaires. I would recommend coming up with ideas, sharing your ideas, but also sometimes not sharing your ideas. I think being a private person is something that's really underrated nowadays, especially with the rise of social media. You know, people take privacy for granted, and like, I don't know, people just don't value privacy anymore. I will not be getting things like Be Real, Snapchat, Be Real, all that stuff, in my opinion, is incredibly invasive. So I feel like when we're so public about our ideas and we're so inclined to share them immediately with everybody else, they can be shut down really quickly, and that makes it incredibly hard to evolve and get smarter and come up with new inventions and new ideas and be a creative person when you're so quick to share your ideas with others who maybe don't understand things in the same way that you do. If you strongly disagree with somebody's idea, I think it's really important to come at them with a level of understanding, and this specifically is one of my goals. I think one of my biggest struggles is like if somebody tells me I'm bad at something that I think that I'm good at, makes me hugely defensive, whereas it's really easy if somebody tells you you're bad at something that you already know you're bad at, like you can own it. But it's really hard to own something that you like think you're good at when somebody else thinks you're bad at it. It's really good to just respond with understanding first, and just, you know, understand where they're coming from, and also, you know, maybe you are bad at the thing that you thought you were good at. So my next tip for glowing up in 2024 is don't gossip about people. This is probably my #1 tip. I could definitely just make a whole video about this, but this has been my strong conviction. Honestly, I've been pretty convicted about this my whole life, but especially recently, I've just felt that It's really easy to follow the crowd, and when everybody else is gossiping about people, it's really easy to gossip about people. And it might seem just like it doesn't really mean anything because they won't really know you're talking about them, but Ephesians 4:29, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. James 1:26, those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. This is James 4:11. Brothers and sisters, do not slander one another. Anyone who speaks against a brother or sister judges them, speaks against the law and judges it. When you judge the law, you are not keeping it, but sitting in judgment on it. A lot of people, when asked, would you say it to their face? They're often like, yeah, I would say it to their face. Like, they're my best friend. Like, I would totally tell them that. Okay, maybe you would say it to their face. Let me ask you this. Would you say it to Jesus? Matthew 25:40. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. I think about this verse a lot, especially when I go about communicating with other people and about other people. When you talk bad about somebody, you're talking bad about Jesus, and that's really hard for some people to understand. I definitely didn't understand it my whole life, and if you don't understand it or it doesn't like intuitively click with you, I would go about it through prayer and just kind of growing your relationship with God. I really find it hurtful when people talk bad about other people, because truly it's just like an offense to my Creator, my Heavenly Father. And it's not just like my God. Like, God is not just God, he is Yahweh, creator of the universe. Obviously, a lot of people will say, you know, it's obvious that like God is above humans, but we don't act like that. And what we say is very insignificant compared to how we act, has a lot more weight than what we say. So if we act like God is less than us, that's probably what we truly believe in our heart, not what we say. What you say about other people, you're saying it about God. And I know it doesn't seem like that, but it is, because the person you are talking bad about is one of God's creation. Talking bad about them not only hurts your relationship with that person, or even with the other people that you're talking about them to, but it hurts your relationship with God. First of all, you're not following his command. I mean, the Bible explicitly says do not gossip. So you're breaking his law. You're talking bad about his creation. Honestly, it really breaks my heart. It's really sad. So yeah, let's not bring gossip into 2024. Not only from a spiritual perspective, but gossip is just ugly. It makes you extremely unattractive, and it makes you extremely untrustworthy. I think if you're thinking in your mind, is this considered gossip? It probably is. All right. Next, is what you are living for worth Jesus dying for? Is what you are living for worth Jesus dying for? This could be a really cute little quote that you repost on Instagram or put on your Pinterest board, but this could also really hit home. Every single thing we do in our life, another second we're living because Jesus died for you. Like me sitting here right now breathing is because Jesus died for me so that I could live. I'm like not trying to be dramatic, but it's like really emotional. You know that I really like working out, being productive, that's like my aesthetic, doing things and like working out and being active and like getting things done and learning new things. And it really comes from a heart of Jesus died for me, and what am I doing to show for that? And when you really understand that the creator of the universe laid down his life for you to live, it changes everything. Laying on the couch all day is just not going to do it. And 2024 is not going to be a couch year. It is going to be a year of change. And I think every year should be a year of change, because if we're not changing, we're not growing. And if we're not growing, we're not living how Christ died for us to live. Go along with that. Honestly, this just goes along with everything. My word for this year, I believe this was my word for small group, was intentional. I've really thought about this. I've ate this, I've chewed this up, I have spit it out, I have eaten it again. Intentionality. Be intentional. Be intentional in what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, what you do, what you say, who you talk to, who you associate with. Everything. Everything you do is a choice. Being upset is a choice. Having a bad day is a choice. Around 2 years ago, I think, I decided I would not have a bad day anymore. I would never have a bad day again. And I have never had a bad day since then. I don't think it's possible to have a bad day, because every day is a new day that the Lord has made, and I would rejoice and be glad in it. You can take everything. Nothing you can take was ever worth keeping. I'm finally reading The Hunger Games. Low-key love it. If you haven't seen the new movie, you should check it out. Creating a schedule really helps with being intentional about what you're doing. But, you know, even rest should be intentional rest. There should never be a split second of your life where you're not intentional about what you're doing. That's really unrealistic. I mean, that's unrealistic for me. There's times where I'm just like, what just happened? Like, that wasn't super intentional. That was unintentional. Your aim should be that everything should be intentional. And be intentional about what you're saying. This goes with gossip. Is it pleasing to God? Every word you say should be intentional. The standard for that intentionality should be God. Holiness. Holiness is what we strive for as Christians. And obviously, we're never going to reach that. And that's why Christ died for us. But because he died for us, we can live for him. And holiness is what our standard is. Sin is displeasing to God. It's the opposite of holiness. Often it's how close can we get to the line of sin? What is gossip? What is too far in a relationship? In 2024, let's change that, flip that around, and instead of saying how close can we get to the line of sin, think about it the other way. How close can I get to the line of holiness? And instead of thinking, maybe it's not sin yet, it's like, no, am I intentionally doing something to serve God, or am I intentionally doing something to serve myself? All right, next one. Now, this is for me specifically. Practice what you preach. 2024 is a year that we don't just tell people to do things or say we're gonna do things, we actually do them. And I'm literally speaking to myself right now. I'm just gonna read what I wrote in my notes. So I've been on several mission trips and I've developed a love of missions. The Bible makes it clear that as Christians, our mission is to spread the gospel, and in a big way we can do that is simply through being an example of Jesus. You may be the only Bible someone has ever read. You may be the only Bible someone has ever read. So be intentional. Also, if you're going to be on social media and post a bunch of Bible verses and repost a bunch of Christian content, you better live like a Christian. Because how am I going to come on here and say I hate gossip and then turn around and start slandering everybody? Exodus 27, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. So this Bible verse is not about saying the Lord's name in vain, like saying Jesus Christ as a cuss word. This is about calling yourself a Christian because you're wearing the name of Christ, but you're taking it in vain if you don't live like one. In calling yourself a Christian, if you're not really a Christian, you're making other Christians look bad, but you're making Christ look bad. The Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. However, with any unforgivable sin, Christ died for us and forgave all sins. Comparison is the thief of joy. This is so hard with social media now because social media can be so inspiring. I mostly watch lifestyle, productivity, health related videos. There's often people that I'm just like, you're so much prettier than me, you're so much fitter than me, all of that. And I've definitely gotten a lot better about that this year, but especially kind of last year and the year before, it really affected my mental health. Instead of comparing yourself to others, empathize with them. And we often think of empathy as like I will feel their pain with them. But empathy can also be a form of, my friend just got a new car and I'm gonna be so glad for them and almost live vicariously through them and feel like I got a new car. Feel that feeling of joy and excitement. It's also good to remember that, you know, like a new car kind of means nothing in eternity. So while we might think that is a valid means of comparison, it really means nothing in eternity, because in the end, the only thing that matters is that Christ died for everyone. That is the greatest gift of all, and that's really the only thing that matters. But also, it's really easy to be jealous of what somebody looks like, somebody's body, somebody's face, somebody's physical appearance, maybe even somebody's family or somebody's life. Random stupid things that we kind of romanticize because of social media. And this is something that I started implementing a few years ago. Whenever I start to envy someone, she's so pretty or whatever, I think, so pretty, but maybe I want her body. Maybe I want her perfect skin. Maybe I want her house. But do I want to be her? And then I just kind of take myself out of my body and I think, if I was her, that means I wouldn't have anything that makes me me. My personality, my hair, my eyes. I wouldn't be me. And maybe that sounds great. If I was her, I would miss being me. While, you know, she might have better skin than me or better hair than me or more money than me. I don't want to be her. Alright, another thing I really want to do specifically for myself in 2024, and this is obviously something I've been trying to implement for quite a while, but it's really difficult for me, but remembering people's names and saying hi to people. I don't know if I'm just a shy person, but it is really hard for me to do this, And I think what makes it super hard is, number one, maybe you know somebody but you're not sure if they know you, because like maybe you know them through social media or through like pictures, or they're a friend of a friend. Or number two, maybe it's not who you think it is, so that could be embarrassing if you say hi to someone and it wasn't who you thought it was. Honestly, I think that it's one of those things that becomes a habit. The more you do it, the more you want to do it. So something that I'm trying to start doing is maybe just like kind of writing people's names down like on my phone, and just always remembering to like say their name after I meet them, because that act of saying it helps you remember who they are. Next tip for glowing up in 2024 is live your life with the assumption that everybody loves you instead of the assumption that everybody hates you. It's really hard for me to say that, because I think deep down I definitely have kind of feelings that everybody hates me, and I think probably a lot of people have that, and it really kind of guided a lot of my life, and it really affected me. I lost a lot of friendships because of it, and it definitely comes with surrounding yourself by people that gossip a lot. I think that's kind of the root of it, because when other people are gossiping about other people, you think they're gossiping about you too, and it makes you feel like everybody hates you. I think everybody loves you instead of everybody hates you. You know how in middle school when your friend tells you like, oh, your crush like has a crush on you, you know how that like changes the way you act? You're like, oh my gosh, like they like me. Then you just like become a more confident person. Like it changes the way you laugh and the way you smile. It's hard to say this like on YouTube, because I'm just like, okay, people are gonna watch this and be like, at least nobody likes you. That's fine. If nobody likes me, that's fine. I'm still gonna pretend like everybody likes me. If you don't like me, that is totally understandable. We don't have to be friends. And if you do like me, I hope that this doesn't come off as cocky or narcissistic. I think it just shows a level of self-respect. It just makes it way easier to treat other people nicely, because if you think somebody doesn't like you, it's really hard to treat them nicely, because you're like, okay, they hate me, I hate you too. But if you think they like you, then you kind of want to keep that level of respect. Like, have you ever had a teacher and they're like, you're my best student? Then you just like start to be the best student, because you're like, yeah, I am the best student. It's okay if people don't like you. Not everybody is going to like you. They shouldn't, because the Bible says we will be hated by the world. So if everybody loves you, you're doing it wrong. I want to live my life in a way so that nobody has any reason to talk bad about me, and if they are talking bad about me, it is a reflection of their character and not mine. I think it's really important to strive for a life of holiness. Above all else, pursue walking in God's path, growing your relationship with God, being continually in prayer. When you walk into a room, it's not you walking into a room, it's God walking before you. And so when people look at you, they see the light of Jesus. Lastly, what I have to say today is, man plants his path, but the Lord guides his steps. I have so many plans for 2024. I'm excited for a great year. I have plans. But you know what? I am planning my path, but the Lord is guiding my steps. God is in control of everything, and if you haven't found that out yet, guarantee you will. Every little thing, God is in control. We try, and we try so hard to make this great plan for our life, and I do too. I do first and foremost. Like, I am the one who tries to make a plan for my life and tries to be all productive and disciplined and stuff, but in the end, God is in control, and we can't do anything without the grace of God. Every morning when we have to get out of bed, it's like, oh, I have to get out of bed. My alarm went off. I have to get out of bed. But it's like, it is a blessing to wake up in a warm bed and be able to rise and do something with your life. The Bible should be a lamp, a light to your path, a lamp to your feet. I don't know the verse, but this is what guides my life, alright? This is how I find my vows. This is the map of your life. The Bible is literally the living, breathing words of God. This is God-inspired words. The creator of the universe inspired this book, and he gave it to us. First and foremost, God should be on the throne, and the Bible should be guiding your life, because this is the words of God, and this is how we communicate with our creator. Alright, my nails are done. Oh, I used this gel polish on them. I think they turned out really cute. Obviously, they're not professional, but I feel like they look really good for my very first time doing glue-ons myself. Alright, the next thing I'm gonna do for my 2024 glow up is take a shower and like shave and exfoliate and fake tan. I just did my body, and now I'm gonna do my face. This is the fake tan that I use. Alright, another thing I want to put you guys on is I started using this lash serum maybe a couple years ago, and then I stopped using it because I felt like it was placebo. My eyelashes are like so much fuller and longer, so highly recommend. You can just get this stuff like on Amazon. Hey guys, so I'm gonna get my hair done today, so I want to just show y'all a quick before of my hair. I just brush it out so it's like really frizzy, but this is what it looks like now. You can probably tell that it's dyed blonde. It's definitely like worn a lot, but yeah, I also haven't washed it in an ungodly amount of time. So if you stayed till the end, definitely comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this type of videos, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Like, you can't even die for you. Jesus can die for you. Jesus was the perfect sacrifice. You can't even do that for yourself. Like, that is really sad.